Okay, this is Brute Nationale FN57. It's the 5.7 cartridge. 20 round mags, have some 30 round mags for it as well. Picked up a 5.7 red dot. Had this little plate here. You take off the rear sight, replace it, put on the plate for whichever of the red dots you have. This is a Leupold Deltapoint, which works out really well for a nightstand kind of a gun. The sight goes on and off. It turns off just a couple minutes after being on if it's not moved. So for sitting on your nightstand, the sight will be off until you want to pick it up, and then it's good to go. If you were trying to do this as a carry weapon, then the Leupold would not be a good choice, just because every time you moved it would turn it on and then it would stay on the whole time, and then essentially what would happen is you'd wind up just running the battery down. Don't know how well we're going to be able to see it. We'll see if we can get the Leupold, the red dot, to come through the camera there. Not really sure. It's just a red triangle. We'll see if that shows up on video or not. The gun has almost no recoil, and one of the reasons I bought it was obviously you have the high capacity, the 20 rounds. The safety's in a unique spot, which if you pick up the handgun and you've got your finger, kind of indexed instead of there in the trigger where it's not supposed to be, it's a little too wide or long of a trigger guard, especially with the length of the round, for me to be able to really put my finger and get it to go over the trigger guard like I would on most pistols. So a lot of times with pistols, what I do anyway is I put it above the trigger guard like so. Masad Aoub talked about how people that had their finger along the trigger guard, when they brought it in because of the excitement of the moment or whatever, they'd accidentally discharge around, whereas if it was here and they dropped it in, the worst it would do is hit the bottom of the trigger guard and not accidentally fire the weapon if they didn't want to. So indexing it up here works really well anyway, because that puts you on the safety. And so then you're ready to take safety off, and just start shooting. The red dot does make it a little faster. On the back of the Leupold, there are two little dots here which do line up with the front sight. It's not exactly what I would call a great sight picture, but it is there, so it does help you get on sight as well. The pistol's really well made. It's FN, and for that lighter caliber, sure, it's pretty cool. Belgians do make good stuff. Effin' nice guns, as somebody I know likes to say. So, just got 20 rounds loaded in the magazine here. Yep, safety. There we go. Chase my target away. And it does toss the empties a pretty good distance. I mean, that last one landed here. Actually, most of them are over here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if you're a reloader, I mean, it does throw them at fairly consistent distance. So going and hunting your empties down is pretty easy. I've never had a failure to fire, never had a failure to feed, never had a failure to eject. The 5.7 rounds are, my wife calls them cute because they have little pretty blue tips. But basically like a little mini 5.56 round. So it's an effective home defense gun, particularly if you're looking for something where you get high capacity and not a whole lot in the way of recoil. So it's the FN 5.7 with Leupold.